Hey everyone, this is Tracy with Color Me This. We are on November 1st, but I wanted to finish the last 5 little bits and bobs here on this lovely pumpkin page. I had to seek some help with Hub on what I should do with the round window, I guess shade, sunshade, whatever this is, because it really looks like a pumpkin to me, kind of like it's segregated out by its little segment chunks, and he agreed with me. So I figured out that was one of my last elements to figure out what to color. You will see that I have gone through and colored in these 2 windows. I have to remember these little bottles, but pretty much I finished all of the ivy. I finished the trunk completely, so that I just have those 5 bits. I'm going to go as fast as I can, and then you'll see I started to shade in the top of the pumpkin because that'll be the last thing, and I do not think I will have time to do that. So it will be a fun reveal on Sunday at the weekly color. So I did bring up my camera. Oh, the other thing, I'm gonna get started because I can talk while I'm working. Here are these are my 4 orange tones. They are 111 cadmium orange, orange glaze 113, 115 dark cadmium orange, and light cadmium red 117. So I will get started, but I want to talk about yesterday, because yesterday I attempted to color in my zero grav chair down below. We do have matching recliners, and so they have been up in the living room. We had brought them down for the hurricane, to have them down for my parents to be able to enjoy watching the hurricane, because we have impact resistant windows down there. And we closed all of the hurricane shutters throughout the house except those 2 windows. And it's really not that exciting to watch a hurricane because it's mostly at night, first off. At least everyone that I've seen. I think Nicole was during the day, but it was just not very exciting. So this again, you had some blusteriness, but it was not very exciting, and it blew through really quickly and was done, between 2 and 5 a.m. And we were all sleeping. So anyhow, so I have officially moved back to the recliner. I'm in the living room, so that means I stare out the windows and at a television. In order to look out my backyard, I have to turn to the left and see the backyard, but I do see my bird feeder crystal clear, so that's nice. The problem I have, and why yesterday didn't work, I noticed it didn't stay in focus, so I apologize for that. It was just barely out of focus because, as I was saying, I don't have control over the angle as I am sitting and I have my book clipboard on my lap directly. I can't really sit perfectly still. So that was the problem with that. And my leg went numb a couple of times. Then I had to switch to leaning on the other leg. So it was kind of a pain. I think the zero grav chair is a great, the spot where it is a perfect spot and is a nice place to sit and relax and, watch the birds for a little bit and chill, but not for coloring. It is not a coloring type chair. If I was able to have Hub make me some sort of maybe a wood platform, kind of like a desk that goes across the arms, I could explore that maybe as an option. But the thing about these recliners that appealed to me, and since I was in charge of purchasing them, is that the arms are very wide, and I can put on the left side of the left arm. I am left-hand, sorry, the right arm has my whatever pencils that are mostly in a case. I can't with the Polychromos because these are in a big tote. So the tote, though, can go right here. I have a table right next to me on the right that is a counter height table that we use for stuff coming in and for me eating. So I like the wide arms, and then with a large book. So I've got this giant book. It's what, 10 inches per page. So flopped open, it is 20 inches wide. And I need to have it supported on the left side. And with the zero grav chair, there was no direct support for the left side. So I was holding it still the whole time. And that did not work for me. It was way too it was not relaxing, let's say. So I am back to my original plan, my original spot, and hopefully it will be okay. I do almost want a third recliner, low priority though, because my below space, the craft space, usually has a table, it has projects, I have people coming every other week for coloring group. They can actually work. A lot of times if I have more people, I will get my big dining room table open. It sits under our TV as like a TV console entertainment center, but it really is just a giant collapsed dining room table that goes extremely large. So now I've already moved from the darkest to the very lightest. I'm doing a little burnishing. I did a bunch of burnishing last night and darkening of different shadow areas. I added shading on the vines that you may have seen. I shadowed the door and detailed the door a bit more. I am going to leave a little bit of the white shading on each of these petals. I know they look like petals, but I think they're segments of the pumpkin that has been taken apart. I do have the idea that I might do on the side. The color Beaster, it has a little bit of an orange tone to it. It is not too dark, and I think it could make a nice shadow for all of the pumpkin orange bits. I'm back to the darkest, which is actually almost red. It's an almost red color. Hub is my biggest critic and a big fan, and he is not fond of this playful, cartoony pumpkin scene. He thinks that my pumpkins are too bright and they need some flaws and variation, and I'm like, but that is not my goal here. And so he's like, well, I don't like it. And I'm okay. He does not have to like everything that I do. Okay, we're done with this. We are moving on to this top part. I see that I added a little bit of a stem color at some point. Who knows when that was? And so I'm going to grab that Beaster and Nougat. Here they are, Beaster, Nougat. And I want to, I think this is the green up here. So I want the stem to be a little bit more brown. I do not know what this fluffy looking thing is. Pumpkins don't have a little fluffy thing at the top. So I am going to just make it fluffy with little circles, little ovals, and let it be a nondescript thing, because I don't know what it is. If you guys know what this is, let me know. Let me know. This is the cold gray. I might have preferred the warm gray, but I'm going to just add a little more dark to it. I did add the indanthrene blue as well as the dark indigo. I started to do the layering here, and that was coming out nicely. Okay, what have we got next? We have a bunch of grays. I want to do the gray bits, and I don't want to add too many colors overall, so my chimney, I still might make the chimney. See these little pops of red and the dark on the mushroom? I believe that I might continue that on with this chimney and make the top of the chimney the gray. I have not mocked this up, so what you're going to see, I only have 2 darks for the darker red. Red violet is the darkest, 194, and then dark red, 225, and then I can grab, sheesh, it's not coming out. I can grab from my 3 lights, deep red, 223. The other thing I want to do, I see some tooth. This is all filling in that I can do later. So I do see the tooth. If you guys are seeing some toothy areas, and I have to fill in and really flesh out the purple of the pumpkin. So that will be pretty exciting to do. When I come over here, I'm going to actually shift you guys. I want you to be able to see the chimney. And then I have the Dr. Seuss mushroom. I just think that's the cutest mushroom ever. And I hope that my hand doesn't get in the way. We're going to try really hard to keep the hand out of the way. All right, so my strategy for bricks is just to kind of go around the edges with the darkest color. And if it does not work out, I did not mock it up, and that would be why it doesn't work out. But I think we'll be okay. I'm okay with a little bit of loose, kind of chunky, choppy looking, because this is a stone. So it does not need to be clean and smooth and pristine. So we're going to make this go pretty quickly, because it would be really cool if I could get all of these little bits done. I guess priority-wise, the Dr. Seuss mushroom is the lowest priority. I might save that for very last. Alright, so we've got this dark. We're going for the middle dark red, 225. And again, it is my goal to make it somewhat cartoony and fun and bright. My light source is somewhat, I'm envisioning it off to the right a little bit. So on all of these I have, of course then you have the pumpkins curved, which means that the shadows change as the angles change. So my light source is over here, up here, kind of above the Dr. Seuss mushroom. And again, it's cartoony, it's not necessarily realism, so I'm not being overly picky about. I just want some shadows and some highlights to give it some depth and interest, but it does not have to look real. And I might be taking away some of the highlights as I get closer to done. I did notice that yesterday. I was filling that detail in, not leaving very much white. Going to the lightest red, which is deep red 223. Okay, that is pretty much it. I do have to remove the tooth off of the mushrooms down below, so I have not forgot about them. And when I do that, I will come back through here and also darken up and remove the tooth from the chimney at the same time. But for now, you see what my main intent was here. I'm getting a little bit of resistance along the lines, which is why I'm actually using heavy pressure along the black lines with this darkest red again, so that that part is done. And now I am going to set those aside, grab my grays. I have, for the cool grays, the same grays that I have on the windows, the stonework, the doorway. I have grabbed 3 of them. There is a 4th one. I think I see it. Nope, that's the warm gray. I'm going to set that aside. It appears as though, oh, I see it. Here's the full 4, because I am going to be doing 3 bits now with these 4 grays. I have not decided for my next, for tomorrow. Tomorrow I do have a garage sale, but that only lasts till noon. So 232, cold gray 3, cold gray 5, 234, cold gray 6, 235, and 181 Payne's gray. What I'm thinking for tomorrow is maybe a quick poll and let you guys decide. It'll be very quick, just whatever people come on and vote, because I'm at this point I'm not so addicted to this book that I have to do the book tomorrow. I could start on the romantic country, and I could also work on the boat page, because it's a really nice page in Small Victories. It is still my goal for Small Victories to finish it as close to the end of the year. So that was Payne's Gray that I started with, very medium pressure. So yeah, I'd be curious if you guys want me to continue on. I have 3 more pages that my mom picked out in this book that are fantastic, that I would love to do. I'm gonna go back to this Payne's Gray, which is upside down. That's how I see numbers, upside down, being left-handed. So I'm curious, this is just a completely off-the-topic thing. I've been watching a lot of historical, like westerns and stuff on Paramount Plus. When they have people back in the 1800s and the early 1900s signing something with their left hand, do you guys really believe that there were left-handed people back in the day when you used to get your hand slapped with the ruler? for using the left hand. I just don't think that people wrote left-handed much back in the day. Okay, that was one bit done. Now we're going to move over. I will be centering. Well, we could just go to the next thing. So if I move up a little bit, we have Payne's Gray. Nope, that's Cold Gray. 6. Payne's Gray. And I'm going to do this window frame. And it is just going to be simple shading. Moving to Cold Gray 6. Cold Gray 5. And I believe what I pulled for the lightest is Cold Gray 3. Yep. I'm going to go to, let's try this one, Cold Gray 5, and I would like to add some shadowing here. All right, that is done. Nothing fancy. Now, the light. I told you that it was going to be just a basic iron, nothing fancy, light. So that is what I'm going to stick with. There is an element on there that I am curious what you guys think it is. What is this bottom upside down candle? Is that really a candle? I might leave that empty till you guys give me an opinion of what that might be. Okay, so starting with Payne's Gray. I kind of think of this side over here on the left as the darkest because I want my light source to be off to the right. So I actually am going to have the front view here. This is in silhouette, so this is black, which for me will be just the Payne's Gray. Because then we have reflection light on the back side of it. I have some reflecting light on the outsides on this side, and I've already placed some yellow. So I'm going to have this outside, the very outside will not be as dark. A little bit of, I always follow the shape of the object to work on the metal, the look of metallic. I usually add a couple of different little color variations. And I need, this is darker. And I might blend this out a little lighter. Yeah, I don't know what that, if that is a candle, an upside down, you know, candles don't burn upside down like that. So I'm curious what you guys think. All right, so nothing fancy, just enough cold gray tones to make it look metal. We've got a cauldron all the way at the other end here. See, I have a nice wide arm holding this left side where the snails are. On that side of the page, and so that makes it so much easier. I don't have to be holding it. I was pretty tired last night after coloring. Alright, that was the Payne's Gray. Now we're at Cold Gray 6. You can see I already put in a shadow line here. I went in and did a lot of the shadow lines even before. Cold Gray 5. Cold Gray 3. We're going to make the spoon handle light. We have the bottles, don't we? The potions in the window. We have the Dr. Seuss mushroom. That was a lower, I can do the bottles later. Okay, Dr. Seuss mushroom, as I call it, is going to have a stem that matches the mushroom stem down below. So this mushroom stem here is Nougat and Beester. Nougat and Beester. Make sure that I'm not covering enough of the image so that it doesn't go all wonky. I noticed it did that at the top. doing the stem yesterday, the flowers, I was just not able to hold it still at the right depth. So that was red violet, and this is the dark red. I have a lighter red that I stole from the trio that I used for the light red of the flowers. I will grab it. It is deep red. I can fill in the tooth. By using a strip of white, it gives it a glossy appearance. I want a little more dark. Okay, very cute. I am ready to work. If I don't want to, oh, you know, and the bottles that I need to focus on. I don't know that it's in focus over there. Move it over. Those two dark reds. Now what I probably should do, which I have maybe out, is a little bit of a blue for glass. Let's grab a blue. They aren't, oh, that's a gray. Nope, that's a green. So this is just what I happen to have out. It's a little bit on the purpley side, light ultramarine. This appears to be an empty bottle. The top of the bottle, I'll just grab one of the browns. This happens to be Beaster 179. And I might just leave the labels white for the moment. I now have purples. So going into the purple, we're going to play with the mushroom. There are the dark, very darkest colors. I introduced indanthrene blue. So if we get them in the correct light to dark, like I like. Delft blue, indanthrene blue, dark indigo. Then we go into the purples to violet. So I am going to just probably tilt this way. I want to be coloring at an angle. Let's see if I can make sure that you can see the top. All right. This is the dark indigo. How are we doing for time? 35. So I've got 10 minutes to play with the mushroom body. The only section of ivy that I have the shadow work done is this down here, this area. It has got shadows to get us started. I will have to do all of the shading. I have yellow glow to leave and emphasize. I thought that would be a fun area to work on. Moving to our new, the indanthrene blue, to help there be a smoother transition. I will be darkening this up. I'm trying really hard to not put in realistic lines like I really want to do, because I want this to be a smoother, more cartoonish look. I can even see where I might have done some starting of some shadow ridges, I guess. You know, if you look at a real pumpkin, it has ridges. But I'm going to try not to have it be that way. I'm going to do smooth. I'm telling you to hold me accountable. This indanthrene blue seems to make a nice transition into the purple. Doing long feather light ovals here. The color that I did the shadows looks to me like I did it in warm gray. I'm looking here and it's warm gray. So at a minimum I will have to start with warm gray, and then I can always cool it down by going over it with one of these purple colors. Switching now to Delft blue. This starts getting into the purple. I am sort of doing a glaze of the purple around the top here. Okay, so here's the edge of my yellow, the glowy yellow. It might require that I do some softening with like the kneaded eraser possibly. I also have some lighter purples I can introduce. Still don't know what we're going to do here. I might kind of leave that alone. It might be that in the world of this particular pumpkin, I can have candlelight be upside down. It would be kind of interesting to just do it. So this is one of the lighter colors. I skipped one. This is purple violet. The color, the transitional color between it is blue violet. It's these two. So here's the blue violet. We need to warm up this segment to get it much more violet-y. I am doing heavier pressure, like medium. I'm not even intentionally putting any lines here at the top, but I still see them forming. My long ovals. Shifting to the lighter color again, purple violet. I'm leaving this all white because I might be doing candlelight. I'm somewhat ambivalent whether I start with the light and then work my way to the darks, or if I start with the dark, feather it out, and then transition to the lights. I kind of just go with whatever I have in my hand. And since I have the lightest in my hand, and I do want to make sure I get these violet tones, I'm okay with just throwing some in and then working it up back and forth until it is what I want it to be. Notice I am going in the direction of the segment, the pumpkin's segment, following it as it curves around. How are we doing for time? Oh, we're at 45 minutes. So I am pretty well finished. I will figure out what to do with this little bit of candlelight. You got to see a little bit more of this area of the pumpkin, and I get to decide if I'm going to burnish it until there's no tooth, or if I'm just going to let there be some tooth. I've not decided yet. So many options. All right, so that is all that I have for today. I've pretty much completed all of the elements on the page. You got to see me do some coloring of the purple. I'm going to try to back up and show you what it looks like. So that is what we're looking like, and I will also take a photograph so you can see where we're at. I might sit here for a few minutes and work on it a little bit more. So do all of the YouTube things, like, share, comment, consider subscribing. I'm going to do a quick poll on what I should do tomorrow. I can, if this isn't already done, I can just work on one of the next pages. I can do I think I'll just say by book. Small Victories tomorrow, Magical Worlds, or Romantic Country. And I will get that loaded up and just see what you guys think. Everybody take care, and I will see you tomorrow.